What's happening for him? So Ray was one of the first YouTubers that I watched consistently, right alongside Smosh. Equals 3 was pinnacle content for the time. From the what's happening forum, to the comic book background, to the cool transition. Ray had it all figured out for growing an audience in the climate of YouTube in its early days. Reviewing viral videos. What could be better than that? And what could be better for catching the attention of an audience than giving your take on a video that literally everybody is already watching? Just one dude sitting in front of a camera making stupid jokes and faces about viral videos. And the jump cuts. Dude, I'm not even like 3 minutes in. This is exhausting. That's dedication. Quality stuff, man. And when the occasional guest host came on, those were pretty good too. TJ Miller was my favorite guest host as far as I'm concerned. Who could forget the likes of Chimpanzee riding on a Segway? Or Casey and Megan and the Packers losing the game because Casey's nails were too sparkly because of Megan. Listen, I'm all about commitment to the bit, but like... jump cuts for every sentence. Forgive me if I give up on that halfway through this, alright? Ray introduced me to the absolute banger that is Big Booty Bitches and the off-the-charts talent of Ice JJ Fish. He's the reason that I know what "Hey Scotty, Jesus man" is. Ray played an absolutely integral role in introducing me to meme culture. Loads of the classics were relayed to me through Equals 3, so I owe Ray at least that much. I can't imagine trying to navigate my high school and university years without understanding memes. That would have been so painful. And then there was the Sunny D and Rum episode that included the talents of Schmo Yoho. I would be lying if I said that I didn't know that whole video by heart still. It was so damn catchy, even down to the comment question of the day, what is your favorite emoticon? Dude, that is a whole other thing that I think made Ray a quality, top-notch tuber. Community interaction. A comment question of the day where people who enjoyed the content got to be included in the content itself. That is a baller move, letting people be featured in the stuff that you make. On the part of the audience member, it's incredibly surreal to be part of something that you enjoy watching. Take it from someone who knows. Watching yourself as part of the content you enjoy is an insane feeling. If I had to guess, I'd say that's probably part of how he maintained his audience. When people think there's a chance that they'll be included, they stick around to find out. The general composition of Equals 3 started to degrade, in my opinion, when Ray decided he wanted to do other things and started having excessively more guest hosts while he was trying to figure out how to IRL. Am I saying that Ray shouldn't have set his sights elsewhere? No, I'm not. Of course not. If he wasn't happy anymore, then absolutely he had every right to try pursuing other things. I imagine it gets pretty tricky though when you want to fully release yourself from a role that you've built yourself into while being completely aware that you could lose your entire audience that you've spent years building because maybe they aren't on your side with it. So in an attempt to keep Equals 3 running while also branching out into new endeavors, a number of different potential hosts were brought in. None of them, in my opinion, had the same kick that Ray did, but to be honest, Ray didn't even have the same kick that Ray did. Maybe that came with his reliance on throwing a baby doll at a wall as a joke. A joke that wasn't particularly funny the first time, and it kept losing points every subsequent time it was used. There is the distinct possibility that Ray's sense of humor never changed, but mine did, and I just didn't find the same things funny anymore. Randomly chucking a baby doll at a wall just didn't really land on my tarmac anymore, you know what I'm saying? At a certain point, random just isn't funny anymore, regardless of what random occurrence is occurring currently. Your Favorite Martian was the last thing that Ray did that I very happily and readily supported. Looking back, though, many of the songs can be painted as problematic. I'm not here to deny that, and I'm not here to white knight on behalf of those songs. I see where the problems lie. What I will say is that, with very few exceptions, the purpose of most of the music was to be comedic. And comedy can be used as a way of addressing problematic topics in a way that makes them more accessible and have people more willing to talk about them. Whether or not this was done effectively, especially with songs like Transphobic Techno and the Stereotypes song, is questionable, to say the least. But were they a bop for a kid who was new to YouTube and still in the random is funny stage? Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely they were. As problematic as some of the stuff that Ray has put out is, I will admit that I have a lot of nostalgia for Ray in his Equals 3 and his Your Favorite Martian endeavors. I still find myself watching some of the videos or listening to some of the songs and having an absolute time, my dudes, dudettes, and non-binaries. The only song that I never had any concern for whatsoever was the unofficial Smithers love song. That one just didn't hit right. My favorites, though, included Zombie Love Song, Orphan Tears, We Like Them Girls, White Boy Wasted, and Complicated. I even convinced my voice teacher at one point to let me work on the song Complicated, and she let me, and that was pretty cool. Now, I wasn't watching Ray anymore when he decided to unfairly copyright strike a creator by the name of Hoover, who had a video titled Ray William Johnson Thinks He Can Sing, and used clips of Ray's songs in conjunction with criticism by himself and other creators. This came as a bit of a surprise, since Ray himself had been on the receiving end of a lawsuit concerning fair use, and now he was the accuser instead of the accusee. This painted Ray as a bit of a hypocrite, since he could apparently dish it out, but he couldn't take it. It was a pretty stupid move on his part, but this is not news to anybody who knows anything about the whole debacle. Now, I'm not the first to criticize Ray for his misuse of the copyright system. In fact, I am very late to the game on this one, and I'm sure that I won't be the last. At some point, Ray transitioned to an alternative delivery style for his content, which I understand was mostly through Facebook and Instagram, but it was a real Rick Lax kind of a move, you know? At some point, those ended up on his YouTube channel again, and he does weird little videos that I guess could be considered encouraging or inspirational, motivational even, maybe. Maybe they are for some people, and that's entirely fine. No judgment there. To each their own, as many like to say. But they aren't of any personal interest to me. I tried them. They just don't hit right. What can I say? He also drifted back into music under the name Fat Damon, and from what I can tell, those songs are pretty on brand for him. Less problematic than some of his earlier ones, but on brand all the same. Ray will always be one of the YouTube greats, despite some of the flaws that he's shown over the past few years. I can respect the hustle. He built an empire from the ground up. And even though it may have fallen, the fact remains that if there was a history textbook about YouTube, he would have his whole own chapter. Me, an 11.3K channel, sitting here saying Ray William Johnson's empire fell when he's got 9.69 million subscribers still. I hear the problem with that statement, but it's a mind thing, you know? Like, in my brain, he's not where he was. Similar to my feelings for Smosh, there will always be some support in my mind for Ray. I do feel a little differently about Ray, though. For instance, I don't feel any need or obligation to give his new stuff a chance, and that separates him from Smosh a little bit. Perhaps that comes with the Harvey Dent philosophy that he seemingly slipped into. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. I know that's not Harvey Dent, okay? It's just the closest thing that I have. Give me a break. By YouTube standards, I think somebody who has experienced an infringement on their fair use rights and goes on to falsely strike somebody over their very clear fair use constitutes a type of villain. This isn't life or death like other examples of such a philosophy would be, but I think considering the circumstances, it definitely counts as a moral transgression. All in all, I respect Ray for being one of the guys who introduced me to meme culture and for broadening his own horizons for his own happiness. Sticking with something that you don't love anymore is never a smart move, and it'll never end well, and that goes for far more than just YouTuber entertainment. Sure, Ray has made some bad choices as far as how he handles himself, but I don't think that makes him a bad guy, despite the little comparison that I made earlier. YouTube villain isn't the same as a Batman villain. I know it's a long shot, but Ray, if you see this, thank you for being an early source of entertainment and a good example of following your own aspirations. As a kid who really wanted to get into YouTube, I really looked up to you as a source of inspiration for that. People change and dreams change, but you will always have been somebody who helped me realize something that I wanted to do for myself. So regardless of what you've done and where you're at now, I think that you need to know that you're somebody that kids like me looked up to, and you're a big part of why I've gotten into what I've gotten into. Let's rip Ray off one more time in this video and go to the comment question of the day, which comes from a username MG9, and they say, what's the worst experience you've ever had involving a chair? What is the best experience you've ever had involving a chair? So what are the best and worst experiences you've had involving a chair? Leave your interesting or creative responses in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this episode of My Taste Evolution. I'm ShellRats, and I approve this message. For real though, I hope you've all enjoyed this. Sorry it took so long. I just started a job recently, and I've been trying to get into that and figure that out for myself with the new schedule. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on my thoughts. So comment away, please, happily, and I will see y'all later. Toodles, ShellRats. Psst. There's some really good information in one of the SuperMegaCast episodes where they had Eddie Burback and Gus Johnson on, and they had a nice little discussion about Ray William Johnson and what he's up to now. So if that tickles your fancy, and you might want to go check that out, I'll leave a link in the description. Peace. Come here. Just say hi. You're surprisingly chill about this. I love you. Okay, bye. Jax showed up. Come here, you little boy. What? Hi, you little boy. Hi. So nice. I know you guys love my mom's cats, so I figured he walked in here, I better get a bit with him. Hmm? Yeah, look at you, sweet boy. We're gonna tuck you in right at the end so everybody's happy. Does that sound good? Aww. Thanks for watching.